Right, good evening everyone. Topps 2018 Platinum Premier League. 5 boxes. Thanks to Barry and Ben for joining in. Let's get to it. It's 15th of May. Hopefully this lockdown from coronavirus is nearly over, so everyone can get back to normal and card collecting can become an easy, achievable thing. I had several products lined up that I was going to buy into this year, and everything is on a permanent hold, which is a little bit annoying. Let's just move that camera back a little bit. There we go. Facebook live stream has changed a little bit recently, so if any of you guys are watching, drop a comment, let me know, because it doesn't seem to show me anymore how many people are watching or aren't, or who's joined to watch. This is the boring bit, ripping all of the packaging off. So 2018 Topps Platinum, a master box contains 2 of these mini boxes inside, and they're wrapped in cellophane and cardboard just the same. Hopefully bring these back in the view of the camera. So 5 master boxes equals 10 mini boxes. Hey Barry, how's things, mate? All right. Just going to be noisy for a bit while I open all these boxes and get all the packs out. Yeah, the last box. A big pile of cardboard on my floor. Okay then. Let's just split that stack before we knock it over. Start ripping some packs. this a set you've collected before, or have attempted to jump in on breaks with before, Barry, or not? I know for Ben it's a bit of a stab in the dark. He's more of an ice hockey guy, but he likes to join in occasionally with some soccer, or football as we refer to it in the UK. Ooh, chasing a 101. Yeah, that would be nice. It's been a while since I pulled one. It was, well, I was going to say, the last 101 I pulled, the only 101 I've ever pulled, was from Prism Premier League, and it was Tim Howard. 1 of 1. Sold and went to Hong Kong, I think. Hong Kong or Singapore, I can't remember. Sold it on eBay. Just split the stack in half, shall we? And we'll start off. There you go. How's that for a first pull? Arsenal, Nacho Monreal, number 25 of 100. Chuck them straight in some sleeves and top loaders. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, how's the old soccer card, or the classic old soccer card collection going? I see some of your posts on Instagram every now and then. I've got time at the end of this, and you're still hanging around. I'll show you some of the Merlin cards I pulled up from the National. I finally got around to actually going through stuff over the last couple of weeks. Anyway, Aaron Cresswell from West Ham. Base card. Jan Vertonghen for Tottenham. Also base. N'Golo Kante for Chelsea. Wes Morgan for Leicester. Tom Ince for West Brom. Steve Cook for Bournemouth. Oriol Romeo for Southampton. And new seems weird saying new signing, Mikel Merino for Newcastle. I'm not even sure if he's still there, to be honest. I think he might have moved on by now. If Grant's watching, he'll know. He's a big Newcastle fan. Hang on. Try and keep up with the chat here. Nice! An 88 card set from Panini with the album as well. That's pretty cool. Excuse me. Jay Rodriguez from West Brom. Aurelio Gomez from Watford. Granit Xhaka from Arsenal. Emre Can from Liverpool. Although I do believe he's at Dortmund now. Christopher Schindler. He said Schlongler. That's a bit odd. I don't know if you guys can see just in front of my thumb. There's like something stuck to the card. I can feel it. It's not great. Thankfully it's just on a base card, not on an autograph or something. John Joe Shelby from Newcastle United. Idrissa Gueye for Everton. Still can't get my tongue around some of these names. And a global star of Ahmed Hegazi for West Brom. not numbered. Andros Townsend for Crystal Palace. Excuse me. Sam Vokes for, I believe that's Burnley. I always get the Burnley colours, West Ham and Villa mixed up. Jose Fonte for West Ham United. David Silva for Manchester City. Tom Davies for Everton. And hiding behind that, just catch a glimpse of that in the light there. It's an icon card. Icon card of Tammy Abraham in a Swansea uniform, and it's a 101. Well, Barry, you called the 101, but not for one of the teams that you picked, unfortunately. Well, okay. So I've now pulled 2 1-of-1s. Get that. The Tammy Abraham back before his Chelsea. I'm assuming he was out on loan from Chelsea. I quite like that with the sort of cracked ice diamond effect in the background. That's pretty cool, that. Well, that's not bad going at all. What's that? 20 cards in? Pulled a 101 already. Tom Ince, Wes Morgan for Leicester, Jordan Henderson for Liverpool, Nacho Monreal for Arsenal, Aaron Ramsey for Arsenal, Shane Duffy for Brighton, Fraser Foster for Southampton, and there's an icon card behind that, which is Mario Lemina for Southampton, not numbered. Craig Dawson for West Brom. Yeah, had a feeling, just wrong team. Jordan Ayew for the Swans, Leroy Sané for Manchester City, Raheem Sterling, also Manchester City, Kiko Firmino for Watford, Jake Livermore for West Brom, and can I do this without dropping it? I'll try. Here we go. So we've got a global star in Sadio Mane from Liverpool, not numbered. And then hiding behind Jake Livermore is our first auto, I believe. Oh no, fooled you. There's Wes Morgan hiding behind him from Leicester. Ah, they were stuck together. I thought it was a thicker card. Done you right over. Jose Fonte for West Ham, Nacho Monreal for Arsenal, Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton, Oriol Romeo for Southampton, Jay Rodriguez for West Brom, Jamal Lascelles for Newcastle United. Grant was telling me he should be in England set up a little while back. Not quite sure he's that good. Troy Deeney, Watford's Mr. Reliable. Rob Elliott, Newcastle. Okay, got another card that's backwards here, and it's Aaron Ramsey. Hiding behind that is Andre Gray for Watford, numbered 003 of 100, and hiding behind that is Nathan Edmond, also 003 out of 100 for Southampton. Wilfred Ndidi and Son for Tottenham. got to say, next time you get one of these 101 feelings, Barry, you're going to have to hit me up and let me know. And I'll open everything I've got. Okay, Wes Morgan for Leicester, Jose Fonte for West Ham, Global Star Pablo Zabaleta for West Ham, Toby Alderweireld for Tottenham, Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton, Tomer Hamed for Brighton, Kieran Clark for Newcastle, Ryan Fraser for Bournemouth, and hiding behind that we have I've done it again, these cards are sticking together a little bit. Aaron Ramsey for Arsenal, hiding Global Star Wilfred Bonney for Swansea, number 28 of 50. I do believe that's purple. And the number to 100, cards number to 100 are green. Aaron Cresswell for West Ham, Wilfred Ndidi for Leicester, Mark Noble for West Ham, Jordan Ayew for Swansea, Jeff Hendrick for Burnley, Andre Gray for Watford, Aaron Ramsey for Arsenal, Jack Butland for Stoke, and an icon card of Xherdan Shaqiri for Stoke. And behind that we have our first autograph. Yeah, if you could please. Could always do with a crystal ball. First autograph is Gylfi Sigurdsson for Everton. So after he left Swansea. Tomer Hamed hiding behind it. Doesn't quite set the world on fire at Everton like he was at Swansea, unfortunately. Still a good player though. I quite like his style of play. There we go. Try and get that on the camera so the light isn't blinding you. One auto down and a 1 of 1. Son for Tottenham, Simon Mignolet for Liverpool. I wonder whether, is he still there or has he moved on? He's never going to get in ahead of Alisson, is he? If he is. Marcos Alonso for Chelsea, Kieran Clark for Newcastle, Jack Butland for Stoke, and Harry Arter for Bournemouth. Ryan Fraser for Bournemouth. Try and hold those a little bit closer. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain for Liverpool. Aaron Ramsey for Arsenal. Jack Butland for Stoke. Jan Vertonghen for Tottenham. And a new signing card of Michael Keane for Everton. And let's do that. Hiding behind Ben Foster. Well, it's red. It looks like an Arsenal badge to me. Barry, you might be in luck here. It's Aaron Ramsey player worn shirt hiding behind Ben Foster. That's quite cool, right? Player worn as well. Doesn't say whether it's worn in a game, just I suppose it could be they've handed him a shirt, said put that on and then give it here. You never know. Ben Mee for Burnley. Ryan Fraser for Bournemouth. Oxlade-Chamberlain for Liverpool. Jonas Lossell. I've actually come across him before. He's from Denmark. Came from FC Midtjylland or Midtjylland. Unsure. Plays for Huddersfield anyway, or did. David Silva for Man City. New signing in Wesley Hoed for Southampton. And hiding behind that, Lewis Cook autograph from Bournemouth. Leighton Baines for Everton. Eric Dyer for Tottenham. Elias Kachunga for Huddersfield. Marcus Alonso for Chelsea. Charlie Daniels for Bournemouth. David Silva for Man City. And a new signing for Nathaniel Chalobah for Watford. Peter Crouch, a robot himself, for Stoke. And Petr Cech, who's now netminder in ice hockey. I was hoping I might get to see him play this season, but seeing as all sports are off, it might not happen. Jordan Pickford for Everton. Craig Dawson for West Brom. Cesc Fabregas for Chelsea. And Virgil van Dijk icon. Yeah, I just realised actually, Barry, you took Liverpool, didn't you? Not Arsenal. There's me getting all excited about pulling Ramsey patch for you. Pedro for Chelsea. Phil Jones for Manchester United. Son for Tottenham. Tom Davies for Everton. Granit Xhaka for Arsenal. Oxlade-Chamberlain for Liverpool. That's the first few packs open. Just move all these out the way a little bit. Give me some space to rip some more packs. Be noisy for a minute. Okay, here we go then, and pulling straight over, we've got a match-worn shirt card. Not much suspense there with the first pull. And it's Maya Yoshida, defender for Southampton. Kyle Norton for the Swans. Simon Mignolet for Liverpool. Harry Arter for Bournemouth. Wes Morgan for Leicester. Jose Fonte for West Ham. And a global star, Dusan Tadic for Southampton. Tomer Hamed for Brighton, auto. Carrying on then, Mark Noble for West Ham. Jordan Ayew for Swansea. James Tompkins for Crystal Palace. Lewis Dunk for Brighton. I'm not too impressed with a few of the condition of a couple of these cards. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a scratch line or a print line all the way along the top there. Must be a print line, I can't feel anything. Find this every now and then. What did I have? A couple of baseball sets. I think it was Series 1 or opening day. I think it was Series 1. I had a couple of cards damaged straight out of the box from Topps, which wasn't too pleasing. Fraser Forster, Marcus Rashford, Joel Ward for Crystal Palace. Cesc Fabregas green, numbered 21 of 100 for Chelsea. And we have a match-worn shirt card. Cesar Azpilicueta for Chelsea. There you go, Ben. Another patch card to join your ice hockey cards. Bruno for Brighton. N'Golo Kante for Chelsea. Solly March for Brighton. Tomer Hamed for Brighton. Jeff Cameron for Stoke. Tom Davies for Everton. And a new signing card, Bernardo Silva for Man City. He's turned out to be one of their better signings, I must admit. Tom Carroll for the Swans. Tom Cleverley for Watford. Emre Can for Liverpool. Elias Kachunga for Huddersfield. Junior Stanislas for Bournemouth. I was going to say Brighton then. Icon Eden Hazard for Chelsea. I was just saying to one of the guys I work with yesterday, since he's gone to Real Madrid, where's he gone? How am I doing that? He's gone off the boil a little bit. I think Zidane's beginning to ruin players' careers rather than improve them. Scott Dan for Palace, Mark Noble for West Ham, Eric Dyer for Tottenham, Tom Heaton for Burnley, Granit Xhaka for Arsenal, Bruno for Brighton. Peter Crouch for Stoke. Jordan Pickford for Everton. Global star. Not sure I'd call him a global star. Anthony Knockaert. But there we go. Michael Antonio for West Ham. Leroy Fer for the Swans. And Kyle Walker for Man City. Phil Jones for Man United. Kelechi Iheanacho for Leicester. Ryan Bertrand for Southampton. And a global star purple, Hector Bellerin for Arsenal, numbered 11 of 50. James Tompkins for Palace. Jake Livermore for West Brom. Jeff Hendrick for Burnley. Troy Deeney for Watford. Leroy Fer for Swansea. Ryan Bertrand for Southampton. Jack Butland for Stoke. New signing Alvaro Morata for Chelsea. Raheem Sterling for Man City. Aaron Cresswell for West Ham. John Joe Shelby for Newcastle. Ben Foster for West Brom. Eric Dyer for Spurs. Excuse me a minute, I'll take a drink before I lose my voice. Isn't that always the way though, Barry? Whenever I buy into breaks, it's always the team I don't pick that cards just seem to fly out of. Rajiv Van La Parra for Huddersfield. Joel Matip for Liverpool. Marcus Alonso for Chelsea. Jan Vertonghen for Spurs. An icon card for Robbie Brady of Burnley. Idrissa Gueye. Gueye? Who knows? For Everton anyway. Petr Cech for Arsenal. Granit Xhaka for Arsenal. Jordan Pickford for Everton. Jonas Lossell for Huddersfield. David Silva for Man City. Charlie Daniels for Bournemouth. Roberto Firmino, global star for Liverpool. And Christian Atsu for Newcastle United autograph. Yeah, I jumped in a few basketball breaks recently, in the hope of maybe getting the Pelicans and picking up a Zion on the cheap. The breaks have always been random teams, and yeah, I get nobody. It's always the way. Mark Albrighton for Leicester City. Jake Livermore for West Brom. Oh, yeah, West Bromwich Albion. Ben Mee for Burnley. Ryan Fraser for Bournemouth. David Silva for Manchester City. Charlie Daniels for Bournemouth. And Nathaniel Chalobah for Watford. New signing. Mind you, having said that, I shouldn't moan too much, because luck of the draw, I think. Jumping in breaks, you can't join in. There we go again. That's straight from the pack. Nemanja Matic. Is the camera going to focus in or not? See here? It's like the laminate is peeling off the card. I hope that's just a base card. I'll put that to the side and we'll go through that pack first. Yeah, if you want to be guaranteed a return on cards, you either have to stump up the cash and buy the team that you want, or to get the player you're chasing, or stump up even more cash and buy boxes or cases and open it yourself. But even then, it's still a gamble, isn't it? Yeah, don't we all? So I caught an interesting YouTube video this morning. You know, so obviously I went to the National last year. A friend of mine in the States is one of the, I won't say the biggest breaker in the States, but they're one of probably top 5, top 10. That's how I ended up getting into the hobby, because he sort of chatting one day, got around to, what do you do for a job? And his reply of, I sell baseball cards. And I'm like, shut up, you can't make a living from that, surely. And then obviously a few years down the line, here I am joining in and attempting to do similar. So at the National, he introduced me to quite a few of the guys he knows in the hobby. And a YouTube video popped up this morning from a guy, oh, what did he call himself? Sports card trader? No, the sports card investor. And apparently he bought 4 cards off of one of these guys that my mate introduced me to at the National, in the hope that they would increase in value. One of them was a 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan BGS 9.5 with subgrades of 9.5, 9.5, 9.5 and 10. Paid $15,000 for it at the National last year, and it's rumoured to be worth about $50,000 now, because a PSA 10 sold 2 weeks ago for $50,000, and another PSA 10 sold last week at Heritage Auctions for $96,000. Oh, to pull a Michael Jordan. One day I'll be up there. Oh, I said we were going to do that stack first with a Matic, didn't I? So Jordan Pickford for Everton. Ryan Fraser for Bournemouth. Scott Dan for Crystal Palace. Bournemouth, Jermaine Defoe, purple. Icon, numbered to 50. Phil Jones, Manchester United. Peter Crouch for Stoke. Ben Foster for West Brom, and Matic for United. Base card, thankfully, because of, see there on the video? It's not great. Still, at least it's not an auto or something. Christoph Schindler for Huddersfield. Luka Milivojevic for Crystal Palace. Jack Butland for Stoke. Jan Vertonghen for Spurs. Darren Fletcher for Stoke. Hector Bellerin, Global Star for Arsenal. Another Christian Atsu autograph. What are the chances? You reckon that's drag more people to it and push the prices up? Actually, talking of Bulls players, Dennis Rodman was at the National. He was signing stuff. He walked past me at one point. Big, tall guy. He's still got all his crazy hair and piercings and tattoos and stuff. Oriol Romeo, Southampton. Kieran Clark for Newcastle. Oxlade-Chamberlain for Liverpool. Andros Townsend for Crystal Palace. Jonas Lossell for Huddersfield. And an orange Jamal Lascelles, numbered 20 of 25. Jamal Lascelles for Newcastle. Peter Crouch for Stoke. Carl Walker for Man City. Jeff Cameron for Stoke. Kieran Clark for Newcastle. Granit Xhaka for Arsenal. Craig Dawson for West Brom. Oxlade-Chamberlain for Liverpool. Jose Perez for Newcastle. Kurt Zouma green for Stoke, numbered 31 of 100. Yeah, I watched the Jordan documentary. I quite enjoyed it actually. It's quite, I find having an insight into behind what you just read in the media at the time. But like that Sunderland documentary is not on Netflix. Just shows you how crazy things get behind the scenes, and well, with in Sunderland's position, how much money they wasted on pointless things. Is it any wonder the club nearly went bankrupt? Pedro for Chelsea. Jonjo Shelvey for Newcastle. Gareth Barry for West Brom. If my memory serves me right, it holds the longest serving Premier League player record. Most games appearances. Elias Kachunga for Huddersfield. Craig Dawson for West Brom. Jose Perez for Newcastle. Scott Dan for Crystal Palace. New signing Wesley Hodd for Southampton. Excuse me. Phil Jones for Man United. Kante for Chelsea. Azpilicueta for Chelsea. Christopher Schindler for Huddersfield. Tom Heaton for West Brom. An icon for Eden Hazard from Chelsea. Good old Niall Quinn. Unfortunately not. Although having said that, I don't know if you've noticed the price of soccer cards has started to creep up through the roof. Rookie cards. It seems the era of Messi and Ronaldo could be over. It's certainly quietened down a little bit. Everybody's chasing Mbappe's, Jadon Sancho, Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, Trent Alexander-Arnold even. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton, Pedro for Chelsea, Kyle Norton for the Swans, Bruno for Brighton, Kieran Clark for West Ham for Newcastle even. Honestly, I swear my mouth and my brain aren't connected sometimes. Granit Xhaka for Arsenal. Again, catch the light just right. You see just underneath his surname, Xhaka, and across the front here there's just, it's like there's sticky glue stuck on the card. Jordan Pickford for Everton, Tom Heaton for Burnley, Ayoze Perez for Newcastle, Global Star for Southampton, and Cedric. And for Stoke City, goalkeeper before his injury was one of my big favourites. I don't think he's quite been the same since. Numbered, it's an orange autograph, numbered 23 of 25. Leighton Baines for Everton, Cesar Azpilicueta for Chelsea, Gareth Barry for West Brom, Ben Mee for Burnley. Let's have a drink before I completely lose my voice. Yeah, the current hype seems, obviously the big money's going to for Mbappe stuff. I've got a couple of Mbappe's, Jadon Sancho's. I've got several of from Donruss Soccer. I think I've got an Mbappe number to 149. I've got one number to 50, red laser. Got a few Rashfords, Phil Fodens, Matthijs de Ligt. I think some of the players from Ajax last season, now they've moved on to Barcelona and so on and so forth. I think soccer over the next 5 years, cards are going to be interesting. It's not just going to be all about Ronaldo and Messi, which has been probably for the previous 5 years. Much to my annoyance, because as good as they are, they're not the only two players in the entire world. And Messi's last Ballon d'Or, he did not deserve at all. Van Dijk should have got that by a country mile. Vertonghen for Tottenham, Jack Butland for Stoke, Leighton Baines green for Everton, numbered 81 of 100. Raheem Sterling. Actually, it might be worth picking up a few Sterling cards, depending on what happens with Man City with this Champions League ban. I can see him possibly moving on at some point, and the only places he's going to go is going to be the likes of Real Madrid or Barca. Surprised there's not more want for Sterling cards. I'm not sure if he's done a lot of autos or not. Perhaps not. Unfortunately, Dele Alli's fallen off a cliff with regards to talent, well, hype, should we say, form. Mark Albrighton for Leicester, Nathan Redmond for Southampton, Rob Elliott for Newcastle, Jake Livermore for West Bromwich Albion, Darren Fletcher for Stoke, Nicholas Otamendi for Man City. What a terrible defender he is. New signing Mohamed Salah for Liverpool. Idrissa Gueye for Everton. Yeah, I think it will. There's a lot of hype around young Dortmund players coming through. The big one for me is Erling Haaland. I've seen like highlight reels of his games so far. He's big, tall, skinny. He's only 19 or 18 or 19. He looks, even when he's running with the ball, he looks a bit out of place. It's like he takes a half step in his stride. Kind of puts defenders off a little bit, and he just manages to breeze past them. And a bit like Lewandowski, he's always in the right place at the right time. What he scored? Was it 10 goals in his first 7 Champions League appearances or something? And didn't he scored 7 goals in his first 3 appearances for the club in the German league. Hat-trick in his first game, a brace in his second, and a brace in the third. Tom Cleverley for Watford. Jeff Hendrick for Burnley. Andre Gray for Watford. Ryan Bertrand for Stoke. Troy Deeney for Watford. Antonio Valencia for Manchester United. Global star Stephen Defoe for Burnley. Nacho Monreal for Arsenal. Jeff Cameron for Stoke. Harry Arter for Bournemouth. Marcus Alonso for Chelsea. Andy Carroll for West Ham. Mr. Injured himself. Looked to be the new Shearer at one point. Too many injuries though, unfortunately. Eden Hazard icon card for Chelsea. That's what, 3 of those now. Shane Duffy for Brighton. Tom Carroll for the Swans. Bruno for Brighton. And N'Golo Kante for Chelsea. Alfie Mawson for the Swans. Simon Mignolet for Liverpool. Kurt Zouma for Stoke City. Joel Matip for Liverpool. Kelechi Iheanacho for Leicester. New signing of Mamadou Sakho for Crystal Palace. Pedro for Chelsea. And Kyle Norton for the Swans. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, I think, over the course of the next year or two. I think he's going to have to stay with Dortmund, I think, 2 years, Haaland. And it depends whether the likes of Sancho and a couple of the other youngsters that they've got. There's a lot of hype around, is it Giovanni Reina? Claudio Reina's son? I don't even think he's played a game yet, so I'm not sure why the hype is around him, or what the hype's about, if you like. I think Dortmund have they're known as a sell-on club, but if they can manage to keep their squad and the youngsters they've got coming through for another season, maybe 2, get them well established, they'll be playing Champions League. Could be interesting. I think all this talk of, oh no, players have got to go to Real Madrid, got to go to Barcelona. You go too early in your career and you get swallowed up in a team of superstars and never to be seen again. At the club you've come from, you're the greatest player they've ever seen. I think that's the danger that happens to quite a lot of players. You've obviously got the 1% of the 1%, you know, your Messis, your Ronaldos, that certainly in Ronaldo's case, wherever he's gone, he's been incredibly successful. And whether you like his arrogance or not on the pitch, he certainly works hard off it to keep his skill and fitness level there. When you consider he's what, pushing 35 now, should be pushing close to retirement, not continuing to win championships. When you having said that, with Beckham's new MLS team, I wonder if when Ronaldo's time is up at Juventus, if Bex isn't on the phone trying to talk him into going over there for a season or two to finish off. I'd imagine that'd virtually pay for the stadium, just the sales of Ronaldo shirts. Rip all of these at once. And crack on through. Okay then. Let's turn them over this time. And off we go again. Rob Elliott for Newcastle. Jake Livermore for West Brom. Shane Duffy for Brighton. Tom Carroll for the Swans. Nacho Monreal for Arsenal. Global star Wilfred Bonney, Swansea. And a match-worn shirt card for Adam Federici, goalkeeper for Bournemouth. Must be away kit maybe, because he's wearing all black there. Yeah, that's an interesting thought actually. Depending on how long this virus and the stoppage of live sport continues, I think the Premier League clubs will probably be alright. Championship will survive, but it's the lower league clubs with no, the ones that rely on gate revenue from fans turning up. It's no good for them playing behind closed doors and stuff. So yeah, you might see clubs either folding or players being sacked, I suppose, or laid off. So yeah, America's also going to be pushing soccer because they've got the next World Cup. No, Qatar's the next World Cup. America's got the one after that, haven't they? So over the next 6 years or so, they're going to be hyping up soccer quite a bit in the hope to get the population to go and fill stadiums. So yeah, it's not a bad shout for any players coming into the end of their career to go over to America for a season or two. Carl Norton for Swansea. Jordan Henderson for Liverpool. Steve Cook for Bournemouth. David Silva for Man City. Charlie Daniels for Bournemouth. Jordan Pickford Green, numbered 83 of 100. That's Jordan Pickford for Everton. Followed immediately by an autograph for Brighton, Tomer Hamed. Mark Albrighton for Leicester. Mark Noble for West Ham. Jamal Lascelles for Newcastle. Ryan Bertrand for Southampton. Wes Morgan for Leicester. Jose Fonte for West Ham. A global star, Pablo Zabaleta for West Ham. Aaron Cresswell even, West Ham United. Son for Spurs. Tom Davies for Everton. Leroy Fer for the Swans. Jay Rodriguez for West Brom. Marcus Alonso for Chelsea. Charlie Daniels for Bournemouth. Cesc Fabregas for Chelsea. And a green Gareth Barry for West Brom, numbered 30 of 100. Raheem Sterling for Man City. Tomer Hamed for Brighton. Excuse me. Promise I haven't got coronavirus. Just been welding all week, so my lungs are destroyed. Rajiv Van La Parra for Huddersfield. Joel Matip for Liverpool. David Silva for Man City. Alvaro Morata, new signing for Chelsea. Nacho Monreal for Arsenal. Idrissa Gueye for Everton. Mark Noble for West Ham. Jordan Ayew for Swansea. Jordan Pickford for Everton. Eric Dyer for Spurs. Kurt Zouma for Stoke. Andros Townsend for Crystal Palace. Jonas Lossell for Huddersfield. An icon card for Matt Ritchie. I'd kind of agree with that. He's been one hell of a player for Newcastle. Kept them in games at times. Not recently, but over the years. Tom Carroll for the Swans. Mark Albrighton for Leicester. And an autograph card, Aaron Ramsey of Arsenal. It's also numbered, so it's a green auto, it's numbered 41 of 100. Eric Dyer for Spurs. Roger Van La Parra for Huddersfield. Nacho Monreal for Arsenal. Idrissa Gueye for Everton. Global Star and Anthony Knockaert. Jordan Ayew, Swansea. Tomer Hamed for Brighton. Jordan Henderson for Liverpool. Nemanja Matic for Man United. Ayoze Perez for Newcastle. Mark Albrighton for Leicester. Kurt Zouma for Stoke. Abdoulaye Doucouré for Watford, Global Star. Andros Townsend, Crystal Palace. David Silva for Man City. Nacho Monreal for Arsenal. Raji Van La Parra for Huddersfield. Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton. And an icon card for Everton, Wayne Rooney. Back on his return to Everton for a short while before he went off to the States. Joel Ward, Crystal Palace. Jordan Ayew for Swansea. Tom Cleverley for Watford. Son for Spurs. Oxlade-Chamberlain for Liverpool. Marcus Rashford for United. Rob Elliott for Newcastle. Shinji Okazaki for Leicester. Charlie Daniels for Bournemouth. Manolo Gabbiadini, or Gabbiadini even, for Southampton. Craig Dawson for West Brom. Tom Heaton for Burnley. Nemanja Matic for United. Jonas Lossell for Huddersfield. Brain blank then for a second. Jack Butland for Stoke. Morgan Schneiderlin, Global Star. Jamal Lascelles for Newcastle. And Ndidi for Leicester. Valencia for United. Kolasinac for Arsenal. And Monreal for Arsenal. Henderson for Liverpool. Solly March for Brighton. Tomer Hamed for Brighton. Ariel Romeo for Southampton. And a new signing of Michael Keane for Everton. Jonas Lossell for Huddersfield. Cesar Azpilicueta for Chelsea. Last lot then. Or last stack, should I say. Craig Dawson for West Brom. Elias Kachunga for Huddersfield. Wes Morgan for Leicester. Jose Fonte for West Ham. Aaron Ramsey for Arsenal. Sergio Aguero, icon card for Man City. Now, I agree with that. He has been an icon for them. Very much so. And we have autograph card. Olivier Giroud for Chelsea. There you go, Ben. Pulled you an auto. How's that? Nemanja Matic for United. Nathan Redmond for Southampton. Luka Milivojevic for Crystal Palace. Emre Can for Liverpool. Junior Stanislas for Bournemouth. Global Star, Morgan Schneiderlin. Ndidi for Leicester. Alderweireld for Spurs. Kolasinac for Arsenal. Gareth Barry for West Brom. And there's another card stuck behind there. It's Elias Kachunga for Huddersfield. Tom Heaton for Burnley. Chris Wood as a global star, also for Burnley. Alderweireld for Spurs. Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton. Tom Davies for Everton. Petr Cech for Arsenal. Andre Gray for Watford. Jordan Henderson for Liverpool. Inacio for Leicester. And hiding behind him is a purple global star, numbered 4 of 50. It's a midfielder. It's Gylfi Sigurdsson for Everton. Raheem Sterling for Man City. Aaron Cresswell for West Ham United. Dele Alli. What's happened is all I got to say for Spurs. Looked so bright. Is it because Mourinho is now your manager? You've now become rubbish because boring tactics. Leighton Baines for Everton. Harry Arter for Bournemouth. Jeff Hendrick for Burnley. Steve Cook for Bournemouth. Antonio Valencia for Manchester United. Andy Carroll for West Ham. Wilfred Ndidi, green, numbered 66 of 100. Excuse me. It's getting quite warm in my office any afternoon when the sun's on the window. Usually have the windows open, but there were some kids screaming at each other outside. Didn't think you guys would fancy listening to that. So. Idrissa Gueye for Everton. Aurelio Gomez for Watford. Simon Mignolet for Liverpool. James Tompkins for Crystal Palace. Sam Vokes for Burnley. Nicholas Otamendi for Manchester City. Darren Fletcher for Stoke. And a new signing for Swansea, Sam Clucas. Nacho Monreal for Arsenal. Oriol Romeo for Southampton. Here we go then. Troy Deeney for Watford. Rob Elliott for Newcastle. Tom Heaton for Burnley. Ayoze Perez for Newcastle. Scott Dan for Crystal Palace. Kevin Wimmer, new signing for Stoke City. Ashley Barnes autograph for Burnley. Tomer Hamed for Brighton. Andre Gray for Watford. Jeff Hendrick for Burnley. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain for Liverpool. Craig Dawson for West Brom. Andy Carroll for West Ham United. Followed by an icon card, Lauren Koscielny for Arsenal. Peter Crouch for Stoke City. Aurelio Gomez for Watford. Simon Mignolet for Liverpool. Harry Arter for Bournemouth. Ryan Fraser for Bournemouth. Darren Fletcher for Stoke. Valencia for Manchester United. A purple Gareth Barry, numbered 15 of 50 for West Bromwich Albion. Phil Jones for Man United. Oriol Romeu for Southampton. Tom Ince for Huddersfield. Alfie Mawson for the Swans. Jake Livermore for West Brom. Ben Mee for Burnley. Nicholas Otamendi for Man City. Global star Lucas Fabianski, Swansea goalkeeper. Pedro for Chelsea. Nemanja Matic for Manchester United. Martial for Manchester United. Here's another one I thought, he either doesn't have a lot of cards out or just people don't seem to be overly enamoured with him. I know he's gone off the boil a little bit, but when he first burst onto the scene at United, I was hoping for big things. Considering how far United have fallen over the last few years. Rob Elliott for Newcastle. David Silva for Man City. New signing Sam Clucas for Swansea. Toby Alderweireld for Spurs. Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton. John Joe Shelby for Liverpool. From Liverpool, he's at Newcastle. Ben Foster for West Brom. Kiko Firmino for Watford. Manolo Gabbiadini for Southampton. Troy Deeney for Watford. Andros Townsend for Crystal Palace. Jonas Lossell for Huddersfield. An icon card for Javier Hernandez. Wilfred Ndidi for Leicester City. And the last card is Petr Cech for Arsenal. Just move all these out of the way, base cards, and we'll do a little recap. So icon cards: Van Dijk, Javier Hernandez, Laurent Koscielny, Sergio Aguero, Wayne Rooney, Matt Ritchie, Eden Hazard, Robbie Brady, Eden Hazard, Shaqiri, Mario Lemina. New excuse me. Yeah, I can't see Man United being as bad as they've been for much longer. You know, it's what was it going to be, another 2 years, and it's been 10 years in decline. If this Saudi Arabia buy goes through for Newcastle, I can see Newcastle becoming the new Manchester City and buying every player in sight with a bottomless pit of money. Which could have an adverse effect on United, but they're going to have to pay extortionate wages to get players to go to the northeast, because it's not the greatest place to live, I must admit. Well, it probably is if you're a Newcastle fan. It's probably incredible. I've been to a Newcastle game with a couple of lads I know that are fans. The atmosphere was electric, shall we say. I don't think anyone sat down for the entire game, jumping around, singing and shouting. Anyway, new signings: Sam Clucas for Swansea, Kevin Wimmer for Stoke, Sam Klukas for Swansea, Michael Keane for Everton, Alvaro Morata for Chelsea, Mamadou Sakho for Crystal Palace, Mohamed Salah for Liverpool, Wesley Holt for Southampton, Nathaniel Chalobah for Watford, Alvaro Morata for Chelsea, Bernardo Silva for Man City, Nathaniel Chalobah for Watford, Wesley Holt for Southampton, Michael Keane for Everton, and Mikel Merino for Newcastle. Forgot there was a Salah in there. Just leave that for you. That's, yeah, very much so. They want Ashley out and they want new owners, but they want new owners with a long-term vision that will build the club up to something. You know, before Ashley took over, what, they were challenging top 4 for Champions League. Throwing money at it like Chelsea have and Man City have just ruins the club, doesn't it? So, yeah, that is a concern, but I think at the moment they'd rather have Ashley out than be overly concerned with that. Global stars then. Fabianski for Swansea, Chris Wood for Burnley, Morgan Schneiderlin for Everton, Morgan Schneiderlin again, Abdoulaye Dacour for Watford, Anthony Knockaert for Brighton, Pablo Zabaleta for West Ham, Wilfried Bony for Swansea, Stephen Defour for Burnley, Cedric for Southampton, Hector Bellerin for Arsenal, Roberto Firmino for Liverpool, Anthony Knockaert for Brighton, Dusan Tadic for Southampton, Pablo Zabaleta for West Ham, Sadio Mane for Liverpool, and Ahmed Hagazi for West Brom. Okay, so greens. Number to 100, Wilfred Ndidi for Leicester City. Can I catch it in the light so it's not absolutely killing the reflection? There we go. Gareth Barry, numbered 30 of 100 from West Brom. Jordan Pickford for Everton, numbered 83 of 100. Leighton Baines, also for Everton, numbered 81 of 100. Kurt Zouma for Stoke, numbered 31 of 100. Cesc Fabregas for Chelsea, numbered 21 of 100. Nathan Redmond for Southampton, numbered 3 of 100. Andre Gray for Watford, numbered 3 of 100. And the first card we pulled, which was Nacho Monreal, numbered 25 of 100. Purples then, numbered to 50. Numbered 15 of 50 is Gareth Barry from West Brom. Numbered 4 of 50, Global Star, purple, is Gylfi Sigurdsson. 29 of 50, purple icon is Jermaine Defoe. 11 of 50, Hector Bellerin is a purple Global Star. Numbered 28 of 50 is a purple Wilfried Bony for Swansea, also a Global Star. And we have an orange that's numbered 20 of 25, Jamal Lascelles for Newcastle. And a match-worn shirt from Adam Federici from Bournemouth. Cesar Azpilicueta match-worn shirt from Chelsea. Mayo Yoshida from Southampton. And Aaron Ramsey from Arsenal. autographs. Ashley Barnes from Burnley. Olivier Giroud from Chelsea. Aaron Ramsey for Arsenal. Tomer Hamed for Brighton. Orange, numbered 23 of 25, is Jack Butland. Christian Atsu. Another Christian Atsu. And another Tomer Hamed. Lewis Cook for Bournemouth. And Gylfi Sigurdsson for Everton. And the final card, the one Barry called in the first seconds of the break, saying, I think there's a 1 of 1 in this box. He was hoping it would be Manchester United or Liverpool, the two teams he picked. Unfortunately it wasn't, but it is an icon. 1 of 1 Tammy Abraham for Swansea. That's pretty cool. Second 1 of 1 I've ever pulled. Right, let's shuffle these around. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks to the couple of folks that bought in. If there's products you guys are looking for in the future that you're interested in, to maybe get some boxes or get some cases to run some breaks, you know, drop me a message in either via PM, or maybe I'll put a post up in the group for discussion between everyone. Obviously it would be ideal if the break was completely full, or breaks were completely full each time. That's going to take a little bit of time to get to that point, but here's hoping for the future. So these aren't included in the break. This is just something I picked up while I was at the National, wandering around, and it was a very random spot. In fact, I've got the box up there. I'll show you. It's an incredibly battered box. So when I was at school, you collected Premier League stickers, and they were made by a company called Merlin. And 35p a packet was probably about right. But I came across these in collector's cards, and I'd not come across them before. I say the box is as it was on the stall that I found it in the States, but Merlin Publishing, Milton Keynes, Merlin Collections, 1996 FA Premier League. 50 packets in the box. There weren't 50 packets in here, unfortunately. There were a couple missing because the box was open. But I went through and opened all the packs. Quite amusing seeing some of the old players and old kits and hairstyles and so on and so forth. This is just some of the ones I pulled out and sleeved. So Ian Walker for Tottenham from 1996. So they had space on the back of the card for you, you know, if you hung around the ground, found the players, you could actually get them to autograph the card, which would be pretty cool. I did think at one point maybe visiting games, take cards with me in case I spot old players there and see if I can get them to sign stuff, but I think that's too much of an ask. Chris Armstrong, also for Spurs. Just a few little stats on the back. Darren Anderton. I don't know if you can see, this card, it's like a cardboard cutout. You can press the outline of the player out of the card and it'll actually stand up. Hence why there's no stats on the back. And Teddy Sheringham with a big head, cartoon style. Fabrizio Ravanelli from Middlesbrough with a big head. Juninho, again cardboard cutout around him to stand, the player to stand up, although quite why you'd want that I'm not quite sure. Something a bit different I suppose. Nicky Barmby, also for Middlesbrough. Branco. Now I remember Nicky Barmby and Juninho. I don't remember Branco for some reason. Recognised and remembered most of the players in here. Alex Ferguson, Manchester United manager. Incredible to think he joined in 1986 from Aberdeen. Stayed at United all that time. And at this point, he'd won 3 league titles. That was it. Possibly, actually not possibly at all, for his time period, the greatest goalkeeper ever to play the game in Peter Schmeichel. Strikers were terrified of him. A very young Gary Neville. Roy Keane. Jordi Cruyff. Ryan Giggs, again with the cutout around him. Eric Cantona. The king, simply. No other words are needed. Keith Gillespie, formerly of Manchester United, went in across to Newcastle. One of the greatest Frenchmen to play the game, David Ginola. Rob Lee for Newcastle. For Steino Espria. The #1 goal scorer in the Premier League. All the more incredible considering he played most of his career at Newcastle United. Turned down the opportunity to go to Manchester United, where he would have won a room full of trophies. Les Ferdinand. Oh, yeah, trying to find old stuff is difficult at the best of times. Trying to find old football or soccer cards is difficult, and then the Scottish stuff must be yeah, nightmare to find. The one thing I was quite surprised at the National is old baseball cards have still got a big pull. A good maybe eighth of the show was sort of baseball card, like cigarette baseball cards from sort of the 20s and 30s. Robbie Fowler for Liverpool, Young Player of the Year. Stan Collymore for Liverpool. Steve McManaman. Went on to Real Madrid. Jamie Redknapp. I remember that shirt as well. Massive fluffy V-neck collar. Horrible looking thing. Jason McAteer. John Scales. Moving on to Chelsea before they were owned by Abramovich and buying titles. Gianluca Vialli. Ruud Gullit. Yeah, that is the upside, I suppose. You know, there's not a great demand. Any that do pop up, you can pick up for reasonably cheap. I've known to fight loads of people off. Mark Hughes, after he left Manchester United. Dennis Wise. Ian Wright for Arsenal. And one of the greatest players ever to play, foreigners to ever play in the Premier League. Probably the first successful foreigner to become, like, achieve legendary status with some of the things he did on a pitch. I still think that he took the ball on the outside of his boot and turned the defender and then span the other way and scored. I don't think anyone will ever repeat a level of skill like that from Dennis Bergkamp. Paul Merson. And then the last one, David Platt. And so there's a bunch more in the box there, but this is just sort of recognisable names I pulled out and sleeved just for a little bit of protection. It was more, well, I wasn't intending to buy any classic stuff when I was there. I just was wandering around sort of taking it all in and saw the Merlin logo out the corner of my eye and thought, I remember that, so I picked it up. Anyway, it's just a little extra to show you what I picked up there at the end. As I say, thanks for joining. We'll get your cards sorted and in the post hopefully tomorrow morning. So Tuesday, Wednesday, I would imagine, maybe even Monday if the postal service is getting anywhere near back to normal. You should have them with you. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.